Welcome to Freedom and Heritage Show on Ghana Prisons TV. Today, we turn our attention to Ghana's history and identity by exploring the criminal justice system that existed long before colonial rule, the pre-colonial justice system. Long before modern institutions such as the Ghana Police Service and formal courts were established, traditional authorities maintained law and order through customs, communal values, and indigenous systems of justice. In this program, we will discuss how crimes were defined, how justice was administered, the forms of punishment that existed, and the lessons today's justice system can draw from our past. I am your host, Chief Superintendent of Prisons, Abdul Latif Adamu. Before I introduce to you our guest for today's discussion, let's acknowledge our sponsors. This program is sponsored by Campus Mineral Water, pure, refreshing, simply the best. To support Ghana Prison Service, to push the Think Prisons 360 Degrees agenda, kindly donate as little as 1 Ghana cedi every month to the Pispers Fund on all networks by dialing *972 *1*3100# on all networks. And this will give you the opportunity to donate any amount starting from 1 Ghana cedi in support of the Ghana Prisons agenda. To collaborate or do business with the Prison Service, visit the Prisons Industry and Business Limited, PRIMBAS, Secretariat at the Prisons Headquarters, Accra, or contact them on 05451 02025 or 0291 903484. Our guest today, ladies and gentlemen, cherished viewers, is a renowned Ghanaian lawyer, a historian, and a public commentator. He is known for his insightful knowledge on Ghana's history, governance, and constitutional matters. He has contributed to national discussions through media engagements and public lectures. Ladies and gentlemen, cherished viewers, our guest today is no other person than lawyer Anoche Frimpong. Lawyer, you are most welcome.
Thank you.
Stay with us as we discuss and explore the foundations of justice in pre-colonial Ghana. Lawyer, to begin with, how did the criminal justice system operate in pre-colonial Ghanaian societies before the introduction of the colonial justice administration system?
Well, my answer is very simple. And your question adverts my attention to a famous book written by one Professor Modibo Okran, in which he starts by saying that every society, save one that is anarchic, has a system of rules that enables it to promote and ensure cohesion, peace, and then productivity. And that book was Law in Aid of Development by Teria Modibo Okran. You see, in pre-colonial Africa, or reducing it to pre-colonial Ghana, we had justice. And indeed, we understood it the very way that the European colonizers who came in later understood the concept. We had justice, and with our subject or topic, crime, criminality, criminal justice. We understood it full well. Now, we had a set of rules, and we called those rules emera among the accounts. See, now we want to, the Constitution wants us to think that when we say emera or law, we are referring to the laws of the state. I mean, the modern Ghanaian state. But among pre-colonial people, whether Dagbani or Konkomba or Nenumba or Ashanti, when we spoke of law, we knew what it meant, that law was above custom. So if, for example, you were Dagomba, living among the Ashantis, you were supposed to abide by the law. But when it comes to custom, that was Amamre, that one will be restricted to the Ashanti people alone. So if you are Dagomba living in Kumasi and you were a Muslim and somebody died and within a matter of 24 hours or 48 hours the person was buried, you have done that according to your custom. No problem about that. The same would not apply to the Akan. So we have Amamre, then we have Emra, which applies to everybody. So whenever you broke the Emra or law, that was a crime. And we had a way of adjudicating. And that is the relevance of your question. If it was to do with all domestic affairs, if it was completely domestic, like infidelity, like a husband slapping a wife, not giving her what you call chop money, the wife not preparing food for the man, or not taking care of the children, all such issues among the accounts in particular were handled by the Queen Mother's court. And please, viewers, listeners, you know the concept of court. The court that we have today originated as a result of the English system where adjudicating was done in the house or the court of the king. So because it was always held in the court or the palace of the king, that was why we borrowed that word court into today's terminology. That today we have a court. And then whenever we say court, we know where we are going. In those days, whenever we said court, we refer to the king's house, the king's palace. So it was the same court system, all domestic issues going to the Queen Mother's house. You know, a child who at a certain age had had sexual intercourse. This was something that would be held by the Queen Mother. Then, if it was to do with minor thefts, you know, and then minor assault and those things would also be held by the Odikro, that is the chief, whose Queen Mother handles the domestic matters. Minor ones will be handled. The one that was a severe one, or one that transcends a family. For example, two persons belonging to two different families fighting over a piece of land. That one would have to go to a chief higher than the two of them, the earlier chief. So here you are understanding that more or less we had something like a magistrate court where an Odikro or head of family will settle a matter. Beyond the Odikro or head of family, then we move to the level of the Obrempon or Ohene, like today's circuit court or high court. Then beyond that, it goes to the Omaihene. And if it is the Ashantis, then beyond the Omaihene, it will go to the Asantehene, like the sovereign. So my answer is that we had a system, a court system, and the punishment also varied based on the level that the matter would be held. For example, if the matter was to be held at the Omahene's court, that involves very serious offenses affecting the state, like murder. If it was murder, or betraying a state secret, or stealing a family like jewel, or state jewel, or giving state land to another person, that will be held by the paramount chief. And that one, in fact, can go with a capital punishment. And capital punishment can be imposed only by the Omahini. And I should also tell you that no matter the level that a case will be held or decided, the people, anybody who felt unconvinced about it would have an opportunity of appealing to a higher level. We had that. That was why among the accounts, we had a word called Jantua. Jantua Hene, a chief that is responsible for hearing appellate matters. So we had a system, criminal justice system, and punishments to different forms of punishment. For example, if you slept with somebody's wife, you were made to pay a fine. In those days, among the accounts, for example, sleeping with somebody's wife, it was the man who had committed adultery.
And not the woman.
The woman was only supposed to disclose the truth.
Okay.
Just disclosing the truth. And then also the variables differed. You see, today, when you say you have committed adultery, we are talking about real sexual intercourse between you and the woman who is not your wife. In those days, just tapping a woman's waist, you know, especially where the beats, very good, amounted to adultery. And then tapping where the breasts can be found.
So the definition of certain offenses has shifted a bit from the colonial era to the modern era.
Sure, pre-colonial era.
Pre-colonial era.
Because ours was anything to do with the part of a woman always covered. If you try to invade the place, it amounted to adultery. And then the woman will be, if she would report you to the husband, fine. If she never did that and then another person said it to the husband, she was only supposed to confess, even if it was real sexual intercourse. All that she needed to do was to confess. Then they would take a certain amount from you called ayefra from you. As for the woman, she had not done anything wrong. The marriage continues.
So ayefra is more like a compensation.
Compensation, but the matter will be duly tried. And then you will be asked to pay a fine. Where you think that the woman is lying, you have the right to go up. Like today, we also make appeals. And then somebody said you stolen his property, you have the right to appeal. But our sentences were very harsh then. Very, very harsh, because we always felt like giving very high sentences to ensure that everybody will be compelled to obey the law. And then also, we didn't have separation of powers. Like
okay,
today,
I was coming there.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
Lawyer. So after all, the Europeans didn't come to find us disorganized, unstructured. When they came, we were organized. We had our structures in place, working for us. We had various institutions playing their roles in ensuring social control.
Sure, because anytime you come across a word which is borrowed, then it means we didn't have the thing. Like tomatoes. We didn't know tomato. They brought it.
Wow.
And then pano, bread.
Yes.
It's a Portuguese language, pano. Asopatel. So Portuguese language, we didn't have it.
Wow.
But when you come across an account word like bonnet, offense, it means we knew it before coming. Before, they coming. And then at the GMNE, somebody who is touched to, literally, touched to a tree, a piece of wood, that is imprisonment. Anybody who suffers confinement, it is a pre-existing account word before they came. So it means that we had the system. Yekodi Assembly, we are going to adjudicate a matter. We had all this in place before they came. So they only came to refine it based on whatever happened during the bond of 1844, 6 March 1844, when the British formalized the system and then pruned our own, introducing a system whereby, for the first time, we will have supremacy of the law. At first, we didn't have supremacy of the law to a very high extent. The law was what the king interpreted. And I should tell you that in those days, our chiefs had several functions, including adjudicating functions, the, what you call political, administrative, spiritual, military, because they could raise an army. Now, after the bond of 1844, you will not be able to raise an army. It is the state that will do it. Adjudicating functions will be taken away from you. You understand? And then you will be limited to only the administrative functions.
So lawyer, am I right to say, although I will come back, I wouldn't want to veer off too much. Am I right to say that the introduction or the refinement of the justice system that the colonial masters brought more or less reinforced colonialism or supported colonialism? Because you just mentioned that it stripped the local authorities of certain powers and authorities to function. So thereby subordinating them to the authority.
That one is
of the
true. Most of their powers have been taken away. And the laws they imposed on us, I would say that they form the positive aspect of colonialism. Because in those days, among the accounts, the northern people were not doing that because of extreme influence of Islam, that is religion. You know, when it comes to ours, you know, we felt that death was just transition. And so when a very important person like a king or a chief died, he was made to be accompanied by ordinary people. They will execute a lot of people to accompany. This was what they banned. So now they brought about, apart from supremacy of the law, then equality before the law. No, there's no way anybody dies and another person will be executed. And then they also did away with panyeering. You know, for example, I owe you, I'm not able to pay. And then you can arrest any relative of mine, force him to work for you until the money has been paid. Or anytime somebody from village A commits an offense in village B, then when you find any B people, when they find anybody from village A, they will tie him to a tree until the culprit had been produced. You know, these are the crude aspects which the British came in to refine.
I have a lot of questions in there, but that will be taking us off the discussion on the pre-colonial era. So, lawyer, I would want to take you back a bit. So, what were the specific roles the chiefs and elders play in maintaining law and order in the pre-colonial era? You've explained some, but I want you to give us the detailed explanation whether there were such things as the rule of the policing system, there were such things as the court system. You've explained a bit of that. Whether there was such thing as the correctional system, as we witnessed today, were these institutions present or existing during the pre-colonial era?
The institutions were existing, except that they were in a very informal form. For example, for us, and I realized that among Northerners too, anytime a child was growing up, he or she was made to go and live with a distant relative to ensure that the person would not be swollen-headed. If the person committed any offense, they brought in an outsider to correct the person. And then we also had chiefs whose functions were to deliberate on specific aspects of crimes. So, for example, if you were to be executed, we had Abrafo and Abrafo Hene, the chief of the executioners, who would ensure that such thing was done. We had Jase Hene, we had Tufu Hene. What do you say Tufu Hene? The head of those who advise the chiefs. So anytime somebody committed an offense, the person was actually informed by the linguist. You know, the chief will send the linguist to bring the person to the palace. A day will be fixed for the hearing of the matter. And the person, the complainant, will be made to speak first. After that, you will be made to answer the alleged culprit. And then, if it was a straightforward matter, everybody could actually impose some, a judgment. Everybody will speak. And the chief will be the last person to speak. The Queen Mother will sit there very quietly, observing the body language of everyone. That's her function there. She will not be seen talking in public. When it became so difficult to give a judgment, then they would dissolve and they go to caucus. And that at the caucus, the Queen Mother had the right to speak. And that's where psychology comes in.
Okay.
You know, women have a very high sense of taste, of smell, of observation.
Exactly.
Above everything, women are those who are close to everyone in the town. So when they go at Nasa Assembly, so no far papa no. That's where she will bring in her views. You know, at that level. That level say you could be abrewa. Abrewa means a very elderly person in society whose advice you are going to seek. So it could be a man, it could be a woman, but it was always connoting that the advice was higher than what was we could get at the meeting. So all that we are trying to say is that there was a system in place which was functioning all right. And why it was just was that we knew the offenses and we knew the punishment before one broke the law. And that was why the system, I would say, was very peaceful, very cordial.
Very cordial, very fair.
Fair to everybody.
And from your submission, I could deduce that accused persons were given fair hearing. Yeah, the opportunity
everybody
to speak their mind, also say their side of the story. But lawyer, did African spirituality play any role in maintaining social order?
Spirituality played a great role. You see, today, you marry a woman and you put a ring on the finger. You understand? And they think, when I say they, all of us, we think that when you offend God and you pray, they say 70 times, 7 times a day, God will have to forgive you. In those days, we felt that the moment two families came together, libation was poured, invoking the gods of the land.
The ancestors.
The ancestors and the gods. Then it meant that these people were always overlooking us. That's the spiritual aspect. That was why it was so easy for people to confess their sins. Let me tell you that in those days, for example, the Ashantis, they had prisons. And the prisons were not confined as we have. No, they were open prisons. But the people will not run. They will not abscond because they knew they had committed offenses. And whenever you abscond to any town, as a stranger, they will listen to your story. If you have committed an offense, they will send you back. So spirituality played a role. We feared the gods of the day. And then let me also add something very nice for people to hear. After some time, at first, all we knew was punishment, like say execution. This pioneering, and then banishment. Later, we introduced body mutilation to it. Because of the introduction of Islam into the Akan system, trading with the Muslim people, and then we observing from the Quran they read to us that certain offenses, you wouldn't need to kill the person, you only needed to chop the hand or maybe very good.
Like stealing.
So the Ashantis introduced that, starting from King Osei Kwame. The Ashantis in about 200 years ago, the Ashantis introduced that. And that was spiritual laws. And then also, the spiritual as the negative part of it was that people who committed murder, we kept them. Then before the annual Ojira festival or annual festival among all the people, we will have to execute some of these people in order to cleanse the soul of the chiefs and of the whole society. You didn't need to kill anybody at all, but those who had committed heinous offenses. And they would be going about free. Nobody would touch them. But anytime we needed any one of them to pacify the ghosts. And this also became a big social control mechanism. Then you should be very careful. Otherwise, this is what will happen to you.
Wow. So really, Doc, you were mentioning various types of punishment. And in this era, did we have crime categorization? In terms of crimes that we considered more heinous and crimes that we considered less heinous. Did we have such categorization of offenses during those?
Yes. You see, to tell an Akan that why you're bunny, it means a very heinous offense. Today, unfortunately, anytime we say why you're bunny, you've committed an offense, immediately we begin to think about the Bible or the Quran. In those days, it wasn't so. It was a very heinous offense. Why you bunny? And then people begin to check what bunny, what offense? And then below it, so watu emra. Watu emra, that's the second level. Oh, like for example, he didn't attend a funeral. The chief was having a celebration, he did not attend. You understand? Those things, it's watu emra, like they were minor offenses. But bunny is a very heinous one. And then wafum, like something that was a misdemeanor, or wafum kakra. So that one you could be made to apologize. That one, then very good. They went with certain types of pacification too. For example, among the accounts, whenever you said yejino ogai, you are supposed to pay a fine by a sheep. Yejino ogai. It means that you need to produce a human being. Then when you said that, a sheep with a tail, that is a real sheep. And then when you say sikajai, it means that your punishment will be in the form of cash or gold. So this categorization alone should tell you that we knew classification of crimes and then whatever goes with each class.
Wow. Indeed, we knew classification of crimes and the punishment that goes with each class of crimes.
And then if I should add to, some of the punishments were affected titles. Yeah, for example, your family, maybe it's the Jasahine family or Adontehine family. Maybe the head of family or somebody in that family commits an offense and that title is taken away and given to a different family. It was also a form of punishment. Or you belong to the royal clan, whether it is Domahine's clan or Ochehine or Asantehine, you belong to it. Then your part, that's something very heinous, like refusing to go to war or stealing the family's, gold. Then to that extent, your line, which I like it very much, they call it your gate. Your gate can be closed. Yes, because of what one person did. So to everything that someone did, there was a form of punishment. And then there was also another form of encouraging you, motivating you, giving you titles based on good things that you did.
You did, exactly. So indeed, lawyer, we will go for a short commercial break, and then we will come and continue from where the punishment sometimes amounts to stripping you off your titles. When we come back, we would like to know whether it is for a period or when we strip you forever. So viewers, when we come back, lawyer will assist us in understanding this system of punishment.
From the heart of nature flows purity, carefully captured in every drop of Campus mineral water. At Campus, each bottle and sachet goes through advanced filtration and mineral balancing, ensuring freshness, taste, and safety that meets international standards. From production to packaging, strict hygiene is maintained, guaranteeing that what reaches you is 100% pure and healthy. Rich in essential minerals, Campus mineral water keeps your body hydrated, refreshed, and active every moment of the day. Campus mineral water, pure refreshment, healthy living.
Cherished viewers, you are welcome back. And we are discussing the pre-colonial justice administration system in Ghana. And with us here in the studio is Dr. Yao Anoche Frimpong, Esquire. So, Doctor, before we went for the break, you mentioned that some of the punishment actually amounts to stripping you or individuals off their titles. These titles, when they are stripped, is it for a period or it's as somebody will say, till Senator?
It's as for title. Yes. Once it is stripped forever. And there are several examples. they are stripped forever. And if it's a demotion, it's demotion forever. For example, among the Akans, we all know that the Asafohene, he became more or less second to the Asantehene in Kumasi.
Okay.
Then after the war with the Doma people, Konfanoche said that Asafohene could not protect Obriyabua enough. Because he was more or less like the chief of defense staff. So you couldn't protect your king enough. As a result, he was demoted and Bantamahene came up. So Bantamahene became the Krontihin of Ashanti, like the chief of defense staff. And then the Asafohene became Akwamuhene and second to Bantama. And that thing was forever. And then go to Denchira. This man's gate, Intimi Jakari, because he could not defend the state against Ashanti, and then they were defeated. His gate or line was completely taken off. So after demotion or stripping of your title, it is never temporary, always very permanent. And that's the reason why we say that for the African, power goes with severe responsibilities. The moment you break it, the punishment is so high. And that was why people were always ready to die and be remembered rather than being a coward and forever and ever you will be forgotten, more or less.
And that act of cowardice will affect your lineage.
It will always affect your lineage because everybody say, some time ago this was your position, but today this has become your position. We will never forget that.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure.
Exactly. Now let's look at the purpose of punishment during the pre-colonial era.
The purpose of punishment was always to instill discipline, and above that, to ensure cohesion in the system. You see, and that was why the British failed to understand the African. Take away human sacrifice when chiefs died. Come to the level where anytime anybody committed an offense, the person was hanged in public. Or the coastal people, like the Nzemes, they will tie a very big stone around your neck and then send you into the sea in a canoe and then leave you there, dump you over there. We always, the things that people would see, and then they would not repeat that offense. And the white people did not understand. They thought that we were cruel and gruesome. What they didn't know was that the more cruel the punishment, the less people will be tempted to commit those punishments.
So the more cruel, the more deterring that punishment becomes.
So more or less, we also had deterrent punishment. And then we had reformative ones. The reformative ones, so it's good we are doing the reformative ones were the banishment. See, for example, a young man and a young woman who did not wait until the rituals have all been done before getting pregnant. This one, we strip them naked, take them through the town, and then banish them to go away. After a certain period of time, we invite them to come back. And when they come back, it means that, this is very temporary. They have we feel they have reformed enough. So we have the very rehabilitative forms of punishment. And then also, whenever you committed an offense and you were banished or you were made to face any form of punishment. Like sacrificing a sheep or something, we expect that your life, your lifestyle within that period would be such that you would not, you would either repeat or you would not repeat that offense. All because of the way we see your life based on what you did previously.
Okay. So the purpose of punishment as we know it today in criminology still existed during those times.
It existed. We also had clemency, forgiveness, pardon. We had pardon. You see, I've told you that when you commit an offense and you are supposed to be executed, it was not almost always immediate. It was not almost always immediate. We reserve you for occasions that we needed blood.
Okay.
And then if within that period, everybody saw that you had completely changed, then we could appeal or petition the king that we have seen that the man has completely changed. So let us forgive him. We have clemency.
So, lawyer, let me ask this technical. So, what were the parameters, more or less the criteria for assessing whether someone was completely changed or not?
For example, somebody stole
Yes.
somebody's yam in the farm, and then another time, another person goes to steal, and he, the thief, helps people to arrest them. Then it means he's changing. And then if that person is a habitual thief, and he's been made to pay fines, and then we see that for about a year or two, the person has not done that, then we believe that that person has completely changed. Or if he has even committed murder, and then a whole year or 2 years, he has not yet been executed. But we see that anytime the chief beats the gongo for any operation, he finds himself that he's always the first person to appear at the place. And anytime we want a place to be cleaned, and we're doing communal labor too. We're doing communal labor. We're clearing the highways, we're clearing the river areas. And then we saw that this man always participating, doing more than what was expected of him. Next time when the chief's court meets, then you find somebody called John Tuahine, like, I don't know what to call it, a lawyer or something like that. You petition that person. Then he will tell the chief that, Nana, see this Anoche guy who 8 months ago committed murder. You realize that anytime we decide to go and perform A, B, C, D, he's always the first person to go there. And look at the way he dresses. And then we also see that he has even stopped drinking. And you see that he goes to farm, comes back, and then he comes to sit quietly among the people. I don't think this is a man who has to be executed. Then they judge you, and you can be pardoned. Because we had an account word called bonnet offense, yet they were bonnet achau. This is not an introduction of colonialism. This is our own language. There is sin, there is pardon. Yes.
Wow. Yes, there is sin, there is pardon, there's an appeal, there was an appeal system.
Yes. Appeal is John Chua, you want to go up or to petition somebody. Yes. We had all these things.
So and we know that critical to the functioning of our justice system is the act of investigation. Yes, how crimes are investigated. Yes, so I've been thinking, how is it done? How was it carried out, the investigation? Aside the role that spirituality played in influencing people to speak the truth because of that connection between, that believed connection between them and the spiritual world.
That's very, very important.
Yes, aside that, were there other ways or means of investigating to find out the truth or falsehood of accusations?
You see, among the functions of the Ochiame or the linguist was that of investigation. So, Nana Etuchiame said, the chief has delegated his linguist to go and do investigation. And when it comes to investigation, they would need anybody whose name is mentioned as a witness, or anybody who could be deemed to assist us. But where we go a little wayward, I wouldn't want to say wayward, but that was our system, was when we found it so difficult to explain, then we have to use spiritual means. For example, among Africans, not only Akans, we always felt that before anybody would die, that person should be 80 years, 90 years, 100 and above. So if somebody like you, in your late 30s or early 40s, suddenly the person dies, then in today's world, there's nothing wrong about that. He's dead. And we go to a doctor to perform an autopsy. That's the end of you. But in our days, because he didn't die a natural death. And for us, a natural death means exceeding 78.
70 years.
Below that, we'll have to investigate spiritually. And that is where sometimes we do so many things like forcing people to drink certain concoctions, swearing an oath, taking them to some places. That was the part that I would say that the bond of 1844 banished and taken away completely, because you cannot use spiritual means to determine anybody who had committed an offense.
Did that affect the role of the fetish priests in the Ghanaian community, the bond of 1844, as you mentioned? Did it affect, because we know that they more or less led the way when it comes to spirituality, more or less. So if the bond of 1844 came in to more or less banished this aspect of our culture, then does it mean that it rendered the role of the fetish priest more or less not needed?
Oh, it only affected it. You know, the fetish priest had so many functions. For example, you want to travel from Kumasi to Tamale. Whether what you are going to do would succeed, you will go to the fetish priest. You know, and then you are ill. You've taken all the concoctions given to you. They are not working. Then you go to the fetish priest. We want to perform a funeral. You go to the fetish priest. We want to feed the gods. You go to the fetish priest or the tendanas. Yes, but the only aspect taken away was that aspect that dealt with people going through those rituals in order to find out whether they committed offense or not. So it means that it was just one aspect of their function that were taken away. Just one.
Their function as criminal investigators, more or less, was what was stripped off.
Taken away, yes. That function was taken away. That's the only one taken away. Otherwise, the fetish priests were medicine men, and they helped society a lot. In fact, in those days, they were our doctors, and so they continue to perform their medicinal role.
And even today, they are still consulted.
Well, politicians go to them.
Yes, Doc. In all this, I could see some very good practices then, because today we hear a lot of scholars, especially the older generation, always saying that in their era, some criminal activities happening today could never have happened because of how the society was designed and operated. So can we say that are there lessons from the pre-colonial justice system that the current justice system can take in order to improve our society today in terms of social control?
Yeah. You see, in those days, the punishment was great. So it made everybody scared of committing an offense. So if we are to learn something from the previous system, then I would say that it was the alternative dispute resolution. We had a very good form of dispute resolution, a very informal system, devoid of technicalities. You know, today, you bring a case before court, and just the technicalities alone could make a charge sheet be thrown out.
Exactly.
Yeah. In those days, we didn't have that. Once an offense has been committed, we specifically looked at how to ensure that the culprit had been brought to justice, and there is nothing technical that would derail it. No. So if we should go back to that one, then it was good. Nothing technical could derail. But today, our system is completely different. If you can provide enough evidence to demonstrate that you are right, fine. And the evidence you bring before the court, the judge is not a magician or a piece of God or an angel to know. So if you are able to refine it and present it in a very cogent manner, you are winning. And if you don't know how to put across your case, you are losing. And I believe that is the part that is wrong. And that is why we have introduced this informal system called the alternative dispute resolution, which is completely African and then geared towards the substance of the issue. And nothing more pretentious, and nothing to do with technicalities.
Okay.
I believe that the technicalities we have now are not helping anybody. And then also, our system was swift.
Okay, yes.
Swifter than today's system. Because the moment you committed the offense, the moment you were caught, you were sent to the chief's palace.
Okay.
And immediately, a day will be faced and the matter will be heard and disposed of. In the system today, you know the way it is. You have to go through a very tedious system before the matter is even brought before the judge. You understand? You go there and then there's guilty or not guilty, case adjourned. About a month later, you come back. Meanwhile, there are so many other cases in the pipeline. When it happens that way, a lot of people continue to commit offenses. And then when it happens that way, certain people are kept in custody. In those days, we didn't have any custody. We made sure we dealt with the matter immediately. And that's the system we had, and that was better than what we are having today.
Doc, you're mentioning of custody. In fact, it's forcing me to ask you about the prison system. The prison system, so the swift handling of matters, did it affect the prison system if the prison system even existed then?
We had a prison system. That's why I told you from the beginning that a prisoner was called Adeduamini.
Exactly.
Somebody whose life has been confined. For example, if you are like in 1863, an Asante man called Kwesi Jani, who took a piece of gold nugget, instead of giving to the Asantehene, he brought it to the coast. In a situation like this, the chief whose village you visit will keep you in prison, waiting for the time that you will be transported to wherever you needed to be transported. So that was that small period of confinement for you. And then also, if you are supposed to be executed, and the time is not yet due because maybe you are waiting for the Ojira festival, you will be kept in prison. But our prison system was very informal because it was a Puritan age. And England too, the Elizabethan age was a Puritan age where everybody was religious. We too had a Puritan age where everybody was religious and feared the unseen. As a result, even when the man was walking about freely, he still knew that he was an offender and didn't have to abscond. That was our system. And then when even the chief dies, and people knew that some people will have to be executed to accompany him. You see that those people will have to mourn, shouting, "Mene ubeko, mene ubeko, I will go with you," I'll go, because he knows that his time has come. And today we refer that to our maybe parents or people. Like when your father dies, your mother dies, they say, "Mene ubeko, mene ubeko." As a way of saying that once you have left me, it's like a big burden. It's now on me. I've committed an offense. I have to go and die with you.
So, Doc, if I understand you, meaning during the pre-colonial era, we didn't have this structured prison system where inmates or offenders are kept for long period of time, as we are witnessing it today.
We never had that. We never had that because for us, always we made use of the human being. You see, there is an Akan proverb that says, "Odishia ankwa akwa jane." The meaning is very broad, very inelastic, elastic. What we mean is that once anybody was with you who was not actually part of your family, you made use of the person by way of farming, trading, odd jobs, fighting. Anything that the family did, the person was part of it, and you will spearhead it, and he will follow. So even the prisoner was made to work. You will not be confined, kept somewhere like today we do. And then you look at them in the evening, you count the number of prisoners, and before you hand over to another person. They are open, they come out. We go to farm with them. We bring them back, they carry food. And then we give them very heavy loads. And everybody would know that that's the offender. But we do not really confine them completely. We make them feel to be part of it. And when we come to like them, no matter how heinous the offense might be.
Okay.
If, for example, he's well built, and in those days, accounts were very short and dark people and smallish. So if it was, let's say, a Dagomba man, very huge, and you needed somebody like this in your family. You tame the person within that period of confinement and ensure that the person becomes part of your family, and then you marry him to one of your daughters or nephews. Yes, and if he was a woman, the women from Upper East region were very beautiful. The Akans knew that. So if such a person in the society had committed an offense, you could have children with the person based on how she changes and becomes part of the family.
Was that a right reserved to the chief, or any other member of the society, community also did enjoy that?
Very good. In the case of the chief, he was the only person who could keep that form of imprisonment. And so if he found that any prisoner was worthy of being given that privilege, fine. And not only the chief could also recommend that the way I see this huge person standing there, if you had his blood in your family, it will help you. So it means that for us, even your personality alone could reduce your punishment for you. In today's justice system, it's not easy to say that you have repented somewhere along the line. As a result, the punishment would completely be taken away. In our system, everything was informal and everything was unpredictable. Just looking at you alone, that he's a very handsome man, you are going to kill him. Or so we always look at the positive aspects of life. That was what the African looked at. The positive aspect of everything. So your beauty can exonerate you, just your beauty. Because we feel that once the beauty is always there, reforming you is a better way of preserving the beauty and forgetting the offense. Because as for the offense, no matter what, it has been committed. And that is why the accounts have been saying that, like, Amasan Kenya or Enyashi Wewu. Enyashi means he might not be punished. It doesn't matter. Because you are boniface forgiveness. Yes.
So, in essence, punishment was more non-custodial than custodial.
More non-custodial. And at any time, the person could be punished, especially if you are lucky and the execution was not immediate. You could be forgiven at any time. Yeah, because for us, you see, there is another account proverb that says, even ghosts, the people in the underworld, they say they want more. That's why they are always killing us to go and join them. What about we, the living? We need more people, more
to work on the land.
So we always feel like bringing in more people, no matter the offenses committed. So offenses were there, punishments were there, but they both went hand in hand with ways of ensuring that somebody could be reformed or rehabilitated.
Wow. So the correctional or the philosophy then was more positive than negative.
And then also, you see, the moment you get that privilege, that person changes completely. Because that privilege makes him a very special human being. The moment, let's say, he's a Dagomba man, he should have been killed. Just because of the way he looks, he has been set free. You see that he now becomes a very important member of the community, and that is what is expected of you.
Wow. So, Doc, let me ask this question. We've heard that, like you mentioned earlier, that most of, especially among the Ashantis, and there was this intermarriages between them and the Northerners in order to have children of a certain stature. So, per the explanation you have given, one is tempted to see that most of those men who were used were actually offenders, and or
not offended, laborers, anybody. Not all of them, but some of them.
Okay.
And then also, we Akans believe that it is only when the person is from your maternal side that we can say is related to you. So if you are using a man to fertilize your sister or your niece, for us, we don't have a problem. There's no problem. Because the child that will be born, for us, it's not your child.
Yeah,
it's for the mother. So
exactly.
we don't care where the father comes from. And indeed, nobody is interested in asking you, what papa free? It's not important.
Exactly.
What is important, who free fear baby? You are talking about your mother's family. So no matter how he came to this world, we don't have any problem about that. Yes. And then also shows that there is no purebred Akan. Never. It's only we wouldn't want to tell you, but for us, the purity resides with the maternal line. Once you can trace your maternal line, wherever the paternal is coming from, we don't have any problem.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So, Doc, let me then jump into our modern era.
But before you go to the modern era, let me just add, before we miss it completely, that we also had community of prisoners.
Okay.
Yeah, among the Ashantis, we call that Achire Krom. Yes, people who committed plenty offenses, they created a community for them to live there. And that once you are living there, it means anytime we needed somebody to execute, we'll go to that place. And whenever you were sent there, those people tried their best to lead the best of life in order to tempt society to pardon them. So we had prison towns or prison communities, but they never in four corners of a wall. No.
Just a barbed wire.
No. We know that those people living there, at the boy for, at the DM for, but it's not physical. You don't see it on them. Now we can move on.
Thank you very much. That is a very good information you have given. So, looking at the gains, the benefit of the non-custodial system that was operated during the pre-colonial era, and would you recommend that the current forms of punishment or prison system should begin looking at non-custodial system? Would you advise Ghana to, or the government to, as it were, speed up the introduction of the non-custodial system in the modern
Yes, I believe that, you see, somebody steals, like a common criminal. He steals money, he steals foodstuffs, those things. Why should it be custodial? Because as I sit here, I won't steal. The reason why I won't steal is not because I'm a lawyer. It is because I don't get hungry. Because nobody wants to starve. So if the person steals, it means he belongs to a certain level of society. So such a person must be quickly reformed and then given some job to do so that he will not go and repeat that thing. But if it is murder, for example, we should look at the previous one. If there is a way of helping me coming back to live in society, especially a young person who commits murder. Otherwise, I believe that there must also be justice for the dead. You know, our people need what you call justice for the dead. That's why we're executing criminals. Today, we want to take that thing completely off. The moment you take it off, like those people who killed the young soldier, Major Mama or something, why should, if I were the president, you know, people like this should be immediately killed. Do you know, there's a fresh case in the north. Somebody who specialized in killing watchmen.
Wow. In
the night, when these watchmen will be on guard, you know, midnight, some of them will fall asleep. And this guy will go and kill them. He had killed about 19 or such people. You know, now you are giving life sentence. No. So we can introduce some of these things. Yes, you castrate them. Because what I have seen, even the British psychologists, they come out with the findings that people who rape, anytime we leave them, they will go and rape again. But if we prevent you from raping by castrating you, nobody will need to keep you in prison. You are already a prisoner.
Indeed. So yes, so Doc, the conversation is getting more interesting, but we also are mindful of the time. So Doc, your message, you know, we are in the Ghana month now. The month of March has been adopted as the Ghana month. And it is for this reason we are even having this discussion. Yes, to educate Ghanaians about our history, yes, and the lessons that can be learned to improve our current situation. So, Doc, can you, your message for this month in a minute?
My message is the biblical message. Jesus Christ, who is an aspect of God, knew how painful it was to be a prisoner. And when somebody had committed murder or rape or something like that, Jesus says that we should pay attention to the person, visit him, and then let him feel that he's also part of us. This Heritage Month, I would advise every Ghanaian, as is done in America and other advanced societies, you pay a visit to the prison. Sometimes go and sleep with them over there. Then you feel how it is to be there. Never to neglect those people. Let us, according to biblical principles, make them feel they are very true human beings, as if they had done nothing wrong. Then the guilt in them would subside a bit.
Thank you very much. So, cherished viewers, you've heard from our guests, Dr. Anoche Frimpong Esquire. Yes, he really has given us a lot of information, a lot of knowledge has been shared here about our past. We have taken some very rich lessons from what he has shared with us today. That brings us to the end of today's episode of Freedom and Heritage Show. Today, we explored the foundations of justice in pre-colonial Ghana, from how crimes were defined to how justice was administered, and the important role traditional authorities played in maintaining law and order in the pre-colonial Ghanaian societies. As we reflect on the past, it becomes clear that these indigenous systems offer valuable lessons for today's criminal justice system. Lessons like the non-custodial sentencing system. So at this juncture, we wish to thank the production crew headed by DSP Nana Safo for a marvelous work done today. And also, I wish to thank you all for joining us tonight. Stay tuned to Ghana Prisons TV for more engaging discussions on Ghana's rich heritage and history in this month of March. Doctor, we are grateful for having you. God richly bless you.
I'm also grateful for paying a visit to us. Thank you.
Thank you, too, Doc. But, Doc, we wish to, one of these days, invite you to our prison facilities